Our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is the founder of Aloha Browser. With more than 20 years of experience in managing mobile projects, he is a big privacy advocate now and an ambassador for a user-centric design, which helps Aloha to win its market share. He's quite popular and his name is Andrew Frost. Andrew's passion lies in making the seemingly complex appear simple, ensuring that technology empowers and enriches lives. Andrew has an extensive knowledge of the mobile market inside and out, from working through his career on Zigbee, 3G, and various VPN standards to launching consumer and enterprise applications for companies like Condé Nast, Alliance, and more. Joining me now is the man himself. Welcome on Money Petrol, Andrew Frost from Aloha.
Hi there. It's a pleasure to be here. Hope you have a wonderful day, guys.
Andrew, let's begin our conversation by talking about Browser Wars 2.0, privacy, artificial intelligence, and future of web surfing. What is happening actually with OpenAI, Perplexity, and Google, and how will browsing change with the rise of artificial intelligence?
So, you see, since the first browser been launched, it was probably 1970s, like a lot of things changed. And we now at the brink of AI changing our life. And it's like no matter do you believe in it or not, it will affect your life, right? And it will definitely affect the whole internet. And browser being your main window to the internet is obviously right on the brink of a change. And what this company does, so basically, previously the main role for the browser were to display your content or the website you visit. And During the later times, we've been spending more and more time on browsers rather than, I don't know, like Microsoft Word or whatever like you used before. Now you do mostly things in the cloud online through the browser. So obviously, now you're not only working with the content, you also are creating content, and you basically do your job in the browser, which is uh, being the main point of the entrance to the internet. uh, it's the point that have the most information about you, about like how you do your work, what you're working with, what websites you visit, what your interests are, like providing huge opportunities for data-hungry companies to sell you ads, to upsell you some functionality for your work tools, and like you name it. So obviously everybody wants this data. And with AI, for companies who develop an AI, for them, the biggest thing that they actually need, and now there's a lot of things going on around it, is teaching new models. So basically, you have the GPT-5 right now. You want to have GPT-6. So in order to come to life, they have to get this data, right? To teach the model new things. And these new things is basically what you do in your browser. So like the way we see it is AI is a very nice tool, and if you not use it yet, you will be falling behind. Like you definitely should use it, but you should use it consciously. You have to understand like what you're doing. You have to understand how you interact with it. What's your limitations? What's your benefits? And When we put it in the browser perspective, does it simplify your workflow? To some extent, yes. But like what we see from the recent researches is that actually a lot of companies they falling back. They don't want to use AI like as much as they thought they will, because the interfacing with AI, it does require some skill as well. It does require a lot of knowledge. Like you have to ask a proper question if you want to get the right answer, right? So uh, as a browser, what we can do, first of all, because Aloha is basically a browser focused on privacy and security, so the first thing we look at is like how we can give you access to this thing still being private and care about your privacy, right? Which is not like a very simple task, though, but we do our best. And the number of browsers out there is way higher than it was 2 years ago. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're good or they do what they exactly promise, right? Because the way we see it for these AI companies, the most important part is this the collection of your interactions with the browser. Because without it, they will not be able to update the models. So for us, it's also an opportunity, as I said, to bring privacy-based tools in AI, but also to look at AI in a different angle. Because what I notice right now these days, when you talk with regular people about AI, for them like AI is a chat GPT, which is kind of true, but like not it's not exactly that, right? Chat GPT is a LLM, which basically large language model. And the example I usually try to give is that like there's a person who don't know about tennis, who never played tennis or anything like it, and there's a Chat GPT who knows everything about tennis. But if you put them both in court, the person will probably win, right? So the same thing with I don't know, booking your travel tickets. No matter how the companies try to do it, large language model cannot book you a ticket unless it calls some agent, right? So it doesn't know like where it should click. It fails most of the time. It doesn't mean that they will not be able to do it at some point, but it will not be a large language model, right? It's going to be a different thing, and that's basically what we try to do in Aloha. Is we not try to do the same thing as everybody else. We just try to think like how we can help you with your tasks, how we can save you time, how we can keep your privacy, and make sure that no matter you do in Aloha, it stays on your device and in your pocket.
So, in other words, if I say that Aloha is a privacy first kind of a browser, would that be right?
It would be right, but you see, it's a little bit more because privacy right now is a term that everybody uses, right? There's probably I don't know. You ride in a subway and we'll talk about privacy. So for us, privacy is a key value. But what we build on top is basically a very simple product for regular people because tech can be scary, and I don't know, you ask like an older person, do they know what chat gpt is and like how to book a ticket with a layover, so it might be a little bit complicated for them, right? And for us at Aloha, we try to provide access to all the new tech, keeping you private and make it as simple as possible.
What were the kind of learnings from the previous mistakes that were made while inventing the browsers in the past without artificial intelligence in those days? And now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, what is the difference and what are the learnings? Once again, I would ask, what are the learnings that Aloha has used?
Yeah, so you see what basically the whole tech market did for the last probably 10, 15 years was selling ads. The ad model was everywhere. We've been overflowed with ads on our phones, calls, emails, websites, whatever, right? And it was all based on your data, which nobody actually cared about for quite a while. And then when they realized the risk that they can actually build your whole profile and use it against you. Like if you're a bad actor, it's not only about ads, right? If somebody wants to do you harm and they have all this data, it will be way easier for them, right? So yeah, everybody's starting to get scary. They starting to do a lot of regulations. So we have like terms and conditions, which is like 10,000 pages long that nobody actually reads. A click, I agree, which is kind of take away the right in the court because they will say like you agreed to that, but nobody actually read this, right? So the other thing is that let's say GDPR, which is like now it's impossible to use internet without like the cookie windows and everything. Uh, Aloha helps with that. They just click in like I don't like cookies for you, but anyway, it's still like it's a lot of things that just make your experience worse, for the simple reason that if 10, 15 years ago we would say like this is not a good action, here is the regulations that you should not collect it unless like user said yes, I don't mind about it, and it should be like clearly stated, not in 10,000 pages but at least in 3 paragraphs, like in a nutshell, right? Should be easy to understand. Now it's super complex, and what we have with AI now is basically the same thing. Like you ask ChatGPT like how you treat your medical condition, which may be like your private stuff. But yeah, like OpenAI, they agreed that their employees, they have access to conversations. So that means they can read it. They use this chat uh, to come up with new models. So they basically use it in machine learning. So what it means, let's say for enterprise, you have a lazy employee who works on a legal contract, and he put it in the chat GPT and it was like, do me a summarize or something. And then like chat GPT, they knows about this contract. They know the company A was working with company B on these terms. And then it, I don't know, comes up in the next generation model and somebody like asks chat GPT, like, is company A working with company B? What's the terms? He will know. Will it share it like it's on OpenAI side? They do some filtering, like, yeah, I'll give it to them. They try to do it, but since basically on definition that AI is a black box because it's a neural network, nobody knows what it's going to provide as an output. So it's really hard to control. And although we can, in some countries, they do regulations that they try to force them to control the output, but it's not a problem. It's like fixing a symptom. It's not a fixing a core problem. So that's basically the scary part. That in order to work effective with AI and be private, you have to know what you're doing.
Right. So, as a founder of Aloha Browser, what is your message for the United Arab Emirates based companies when it comes to GDPR compliance?
Well, I heard a lot about that companies treat GDPR as like an annoyance. So I would like them to not treat it as annoyance, but treat it as a like a great gift. Because if you plan your product accordingly and you keep that in mind when you develop things, GDPR is not a problem. It actually helps you because it's a framework. And basically, I think this year in Emirates they got this new regulation framework for AI. You have Minister of AI now, which actually it's a great benefit. It does provide some risks because it's still kind of like a more than a framework than a specific legal document, but still it gives you guidance. And it's the most important thing because if you know the rules of the game, you can win. If there are no rules, then like you're always fighting with somebody else who, and at the end, somebody will use non-competitive advantages like stealing data, pirated books, and all that stuff.
So, Andrew, I want to verify from you that Aloha has actually taken the entire Europe by storm. Am I right on this?
That's true. It's like it's been a quite a ride. So we turning 10 years in November, which is a couple months from now. So since then we grown to over 250 million users worldwide, not only in Europe. We're quite popular in UAE. We're quite popular in India, in US. So the whole world use Aloha. Obviously, we are being based in Cyprus, which is Europe. Uh, we have a major user base in Europe, and we close with the European Commission. We understand like how the regulation work, what's good, what's bad, how we can make it better. We're always happy to provide feedback and explain like why things work the way it work, and how they should work to not be broken at some point, because it's like it's easy to fix things as soon as they appear, but it's important to think about the future. And like, yeah, we cannot say like what the tech is going to be 10 years from now, right? But we can definitely see the threats that can come from the tech that we have now and that is just being developed. So let's think about it before it's too late. Otherwise, we will have this again, the million windows with I agree and I don't care and I will share, I will not share. That will ruin your experience. That will actually put a lot of pressure on regulation because, yeah, you have to do the checks, you have to enforce it, you have to do audits. So it's a lot of work. Like, do we actually need it if we just come up with something right now with a clear regulations, clear rules of the game that everybody's satisfied with and just move on?
And did you face any major challenges or major threats during your journey?
Oh, well, I think for any browser out there, the main uh, important thing is, our competitors are the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft, Apple, Google, right? And for us, like being a smaller company, it's really hard to play fair against with them because, Google has been being under the uh, FTC investigation for quite a while on multiple fronts. And Microsoft, well, did it way before us, even with Internet Explorer. And I think for Apple at some point it will come as well. But still, we see that regulation now across the globe, uh, they do shift towards like level and playing field. So, for example, in Europe last year, they launched a browser choice screen, which is basically mean when you buy a new phone, the phone have to ask you like which browser would you like to try, and we see the same regulation being copied in Australia, in South Korea, and Japan. So it does go to the world, and we welcome it because even if user will not choose Aloha, I'll still be happy about it because at least now they know they have a choice. Because for a lot of people, what internet? It's the Google Chrome, which is not exactly true.
So, what are the major stakes involved in this new browser war that we're talking about?
Yeah, so uh, as we're shifting from displaying content to like make it for me, so I believe the major thing is the computational power. And obviously, for us as a small company, we cannot afford the data center size of Dubai, but like Google can and Apple can, which puts us like not on a very good position, right? So we have to use third-party tools, and in order to do that, we also have to make sure that everything we use still stay private, that the data we share with third parties, if we will share at some point, right now we don't. Um like the way it works is going to be way more complicated. So I think if there'll be like something, a unified technology, because right now the both OpenAI, let's say Anthropic and Gemini, they have similar but quite different APIs. So if we will like unify all these things, that will help a lot to everybody, not only us as a browser, but let's say, I don't know, Notion, who does the workplace tools, that will also help them a lot.
So, lastly, because I know your time is very precious, and before I let you go, how do you see Aloha Browser, say 1 or 2 years from now, with artificial intelligence also coming in a big way? Where do you see your company going ahead?
Good question. So first of all, uh, definitely there's going to be some AI. As I said, we do not want to use language model the way it is right now, but we want to grow to help you do the task. So recently launched a couple AI features we call snips. So basically saying that you can put some routine work that you usually do on Aloha, and it will do it for you automatically, which is a proactive AI. That's where we're heading. But we also don't forget about the people who kind of scared about AI, who don't want AI. So we're actually the only browser out there with a big red button called Kill All AI. If you press it, like all the AI in Aloha will be isolated. You will not interact with it, and it will not see anything, and you'll still stay totally private.
Andrew, when we talk about European Union AI Act versus the United Arab Emirates AI Act, how do you compare the two?
Well, I think the one in the EU is quite strict. I know AI companies not happy about it. Like I can understand them. It's a little bit strict. Is it good? I think it's a first step. It definitely will need some fixes. The one you have in UEU is a little bit more flexible. And as I said, it's a little bit more about framework and guidelines than like strict enforcement, which is a good thing for now. And it has some important things like human oversight, which I believe is extremely important. So in order to control the development of AI, like you cannot just stand here right now and come up with something that will be definitive answer for the next 3 years because the technology developing faster than you. But if you have a framework defining the basic principle the way it did in UAE, then you can like just, I don't know, adjust it towards the right way as the technology develops. And I think that's a little bit more improved way. And I hope when the rest of the world will look at regulation in AI, and they will definitely will, they will take this in consideration as well.
Andrew Frost, founder of Aloha Browser. Thank you so much for speaking so exclusively on Money Petrol. Means a lot to our viewers. Thank you once again, Andrew, for being with us.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy Aloha.
Any message you want to give to your users?
Well, I want to say be responsible. If you use AI, make sure you know what you're doing. Do not share your private data. Use Aloha, it will help you. Read and watch Money Petrol. It's an important media. So I hope everybody will be on board in a great privacy world.
Yes, and I hope Aloha connects the world, in a much better way. Thank you so much once again, Andrew Frost.
Thank you.